from our last week and look at Chapter 8 on advertising and recruiting. We're going to look at the details concerning the selection process, the hiring criteria. So let me start off with an introduction. Can I get the TV to come on? When this comes up, I want you to tell me. Here we go. Okay, now, who would you likely choose for back-of-the-house manager of your facility if one of your applicants came in fitting this description? Can I see a hand? Fred Krueger.
Mr. Hall.
He goes with his own set of nuts.
Think about that one.
Precision. Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
I think no one will be qualified for a front-office position.
You know, it's really interesting. When I pull these up, I thought, who would want to have the Hulk in the back of the house? You all know the Hulk. He does not come in with the job description, filling the job description out looking like that.
He needs anger management training.
He needs anger management training. Yes. Now, Bo Peep was one I threw in there because if you remember the nursery rhyme, Bo Peep lost her sheep.
That's irresponsible.
You all get it. Well, it's really interesting. This is what happens.
I have a question about Mr. Dracula because he couldn't work around the garlic, so that would be a problem right there.
Would we call that diet special dietary needs?
Yes, exactly.
I'll tell you what, he would definitely suck the blood out of your company.
That's for sure.
Nobody.
So, and I thought since we're right here at Halloween, this would be really funny to put up. But really, if you think about it, when we don't take the time out to do our screening, we're going to talk about that, and take the time to look at these applicants to make sure we're choosing the right person for the right position, we could just about get anybody coming in the door, right? So, I want to help you with understanding why you need to know the information that I'm going to share. I'm going to show you a video. Thought this was a really nice clip. It has wild music, but I'm going to see if I can slow it down just a little bit so that you could really see the facts of it, because I think it'll make a good point for you in understanding why you need to know this information.
There's a great video. It's on the Despicable Me cartoon. It's the Minions video where they're sitting there and they're watching the job. They're on the job training, new hires, and they're watching on the job video.
I saw that. We'll have to see that.
Yeah, I have to bring that in. It's hilarious. Just a minute. It's in our class.
Which part is that one?
It comes with the Despicable Me.
Part two?
It's the Minion Madness. There's an extra DVD, special feature DVD.
Yeah, but which one movie does it come with? Part one?
The first one.
Oh, the first one? Oh, I didn't get that one. I missed it. I got the movie. I got the movie.
It's the one after the banana.
Oh, okay. I know which one you're talking about. I haven't watched it yet. I have not. I have one next to it. And I have the game on my phone. I love it. I do. I have a t-shirt with the Mickey on it.
I love the Minions.
Banana.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Despicable. I never think I've ever seen that.
Really?
My wife made minion cupcakes.
Okay, please focus your eyes on the TV. slowed that down on purpose because I wanted you to see some of the key points. When you think about 80 million people needing jobs, that's a lot. But think about people coming into your doors of your establishment, and they're looking for employment. However, are they right for your facility? So if you're in a hurry and you hire this person, maybe on emotional needs, because I've got to get someone into this position and I need to get them in fast, this could very well cause you to lose a lot of money. You'll lose a lot of time because you've not taken the time to hire or to screen this person. And so I wanted you all to really see that, because hiring the wrong person can cause problems within your business. You could very well wind up losing your guests who have been loyal. If they do something that could be harmful to an employee or a guest, your business could be shut down, and all the legal ramifications that go with that. So you want to make sure that you are hiring the right people. You do not want a negative impact on your facility. I'm going to spend some time now talking about hiring criteria. And as you look on the screen, our time and range will be divided as like this. We're going to spend about 45 minutes to an hour talking about the hiring criteria. I'm going to lecture for about 20 minutes, 7:30 to 7:50. Afterwards, you will have about 10 minutes, 7:50 to 8 o'clock, to do some brainstorming on the needs and wants of a head cook. After the brainstorming activity, each of you will work alone for 15 minutes, from 8 to 8:15, to develop one list of 8 criteria for hiring a back-of-the-house manager for your concept. And then we will wrap it up 8:15 to 8:20. The instructional objective at the end of this session, given a list of wants and needs for hiring a back-of-the-house manager, you will create one list of 8 hiring criteria based on the material discussed in lecture with 85% accuracy. You will only have one opportunity to create your hiring criteria. Are there any questions about what we're doing? From our discussion, Chapter 6, on job descriptions and job specifications, both of these tools can be quite helpful as you go through the hiring process. The job specification is most helpful in identifying the types of people. When we look at the types of people, who can tell me what is meant by that?
The person you need for that job.
The person you need for the job? Anyone else?
The skills that the individual may have,
The skills that they would have?
qualifications.
Characteristics? I'm sorry, Jenny.
I said education that they may need for that particular position.
Okay. When we're talking about the types, we're looking actually at the skills, the attitudes, and qualities of the applicant. Okay, so we're looking at all of those pieces. The criteria that you set for your employees is actually the standards that you will use to hire someone in a particular position. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, as we look at all of these pieces, the skills, the attitudes, the characteristics of that person, That's going to help us put together the hiring criteria. So it's right there on your job specification. The hiring criteria is made up of needs and wants. These are the needs and wants that you desire for your establishment. When we talk about needs, ask yourself, what are the essential functions that is needed to adequately get the job done? What are the skills required? How much education or experience does the employee need to carry out the job? While meeting the standards you have set for the position. So you really want to think about, when you're looking at those needs, these are the actual pieces that it's going to take to get the task done. Okay? Certainly, we're all looking for tasks. We don't want tasks to be just completed, right? But that's where standards come in. We want to make sure that the work is done at a certain level. So that certainly goes into when we're thinking about choosing the right person for that position. Okay? Are wants important? John, think about the food truck. Would wants be important for hiring someone for your food truck?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, how so?
Well, I want someone, especially the person taking the order, I'm going to want someone who's friendly and personable and just has that nest to them that makes people comfortable to make them want to come back, because in my opinion, they're kind of like the spokesperson. You know, even though I might be the owner, I'm looking for a face to help create my brand, and if that face is rude or disrespectful, then that can, even if my food is great, if their experience with that one person is bad, then they might not come back. And so I'm going to want someone who has certain qualities that make people feel happy.
Very good, very good. When we talk about wants, we're talking about all of those important pieces that we need to match the right person to our establishment. John gave a very good example in saying you don't want anyone that's rude. You want someone that's going to have a humorous spirit or knows how to smile or use shoulder teeth, even if they have a few in their head. So, and I really thought about, let's say if you have a fine dining facility and maybe your clientele are upper level business people, and let's say you have a server who comes to the table and they're a practical joker. Okay? How does that work for your facility, Jimmy?
It doesn't. I need someone who's going to be professional, who's going to be friendly, and knowledgeable, so that when they walk up to the table, they may not know exactly what the customer wants yet. Right. But they'll know to pay attention to see what little clues they can pick up to make that customer more comfortable and cheer.
Very good, very good. So these are very important pieces when you think about wants. I want to talk a little bit about standards. Well, let me go on and talk about the needs part. Didn't realize that I had that up there. But we've covered the one, so let's talk about those needs, those functions that we have to have. It really goes back to what we were talking about earlier. If you get someone and they look good on the job application, you want to go a little bit further to find out if they have the experience, if they have the necessary skill, the necessary training, or even education that's going to work with your facility. So it's like, what good is it to have a dishwasher who does not know how to operate the machine. You have to spend time taking them through each time to show them how to operate that. What does that do for your business? I'm sorry? It slows down productivity. So certainly when we think about needs, that is the most important part because we're talking about the essential functions of that job. When we talk about standards, we're pulling together the important needs and desired wants that we want for this position. This is how we're going to create our hiring criteria. Okay? We're pulling together the important needs and the desired wants in order to create the hiring criteria. Standards have to be clear in order to be usable. If my standards are not clear, what's going to happen? If someone reads my one ad and I have not clearly stated in my hiring criteria, if I have not clearly stated what I desire to have, what's happening?
You're going to get a flood of applicants.
I'm going to get a flood of applicants.
They're applying for the job that they're not qualified for.
They're applying for the job that they're not qualified for. What else?
There'd be a lot of miscommunication.
Miscommunication. Kevin,
I just said the wrong person. You're going to get the wrong people coming in.
wrong person. It's going to be a lot of miscommunication and a lot of assumptions.
And waste a lot of time.
Waste a lot of time. Thank you. Thank you. So we don't want to waste time. If you expect someone to have previous experience, you want to state how much experience. If you're looking for someone that has 2 to 3 years of work experience, you want to make sure that you've stated work experience. And you could say 2 to 3 years of experience, and they might come back to you and say, well, I did volunteer work. Does that count? Okay?
Well, under that particular description, it might.
Sure, but
It's so broad.
but it is up to you
Right.
to be clear to save you time and money. Okay? You also want to limit your stress level. Okay? Your stress level, the applicant's stress level. Well, I thought you said, no, that's not what I said at all. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to put an example up on the screen. Let's say I'm hiring a cashier for my cafe. I need this person to work the late shift. So before I create a list of hiring criteria, I want to think about my possible needs and wants for this position. So I'm going to brainstorm for a moment and create those needs and wants. I may say, and I did kind of, want to get you all to help me with this, I kind of created one side. So, I decided for needs, I need someone that has the ability to count money. I need someone that's going to have some type of cashier experience. I definitely want someone that has good work ethics. Did you say those are important pieces? Can you think of anything else, Kathy, that could be added to the needs?
Well, I think you want to make sure someone is trustworthy. I guess that goes under good work ethic. Because they're handling your money.
Sure.
So you want to make sure they're trustworthy.
Sure, sure. Yes, Jamie?
Someone who can work late or third shift.
Yes. Because that would do me no good to get them in the door, and then to find out, oh, the babysitter says, I have to be home by 8. Well, I need you till 11:30 tonight. So that caused a problem for my business. Okay. Well, let's take a look at wants. What would be some wants? What would be some desires that you would have for this position? Yes.
Friendly, outgoing.
Very good. Yes. Certainly, because you're going to be meeting people, cafe, late. If you're near, let's say UPS, where you've got Waffle House open because they hang out there, you want people. You want to have a person there that's going to be friendly, that's going to be smiling, a cashier that's going to be humorous. Okay. What else could be added?
Transportation.
You want someone to have transportation? Okay. John?
I was just kind of going over with the reliable, you want someone that you can depend on.
Okay. Marcia, do you have one to add in the wants? Okay. So all of those are very important. When we look at the list of criteria, these are the standards that I would choose to put together the criteria for the cashier position. Let me show you my list here. This is my final piece, and this is what your hiring criteria should look like in the end. Can someone read that for me?
Positive attitude, good math skills, 2 to 3 years cashier experience, good communication skills, reliable transportation.
Is that pretty much it? Pretty clear?
You know exactly what you're looking for, and so there's no room for
Assumption.
assumption.
Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. Jamie?
Yes.
Give me a need for a dishwasher. What do you think? Is that hard?
Kind of want to keep the flow going.
Okay. Okay.
I run the dishwasher sometimes. I don't know what it takes.
Okay. All right. Who can give me a one?
Someone who doesn't mind getting wet.
Oh, that's a good one. Yes. Yes.
For being wet 90% of the day.
Yes, because if you've ever read a dishwasher, of course I have had to run dishwashers in the old kitchen many times, and you get soaking wet a lot of times because the sprayer is going. I mean, it's really interesting. Okay. All right. And thank you, Jamie. That was very good. Items to remember when we're talking about needs, we're talking about the essential functions of that position. When we're talking about wants, we're talking about the attributes that will help match the desired employee to the establishment. We want a good fit. Either way, we want a good fit. Right? Any questions on the hiring criteria? All right. Okay, I'm going to do a count off and separate you into 2 groups. You have posters up on both sides, and you're going to brainstorm for 10 minutes and come up with as many needs and wants you can get for a head cook. Okay? 10 minutes, you're going to work on the needs and wants for a head cook. Ready? All right. Okay, Kathy. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let me reverse that. I don't want 2 males in the same group. 2, 1. 2. 2. One's over here, two's over here.
I'll miss you too.
These and one.
Do you want these?
Do you want the one, do you want
We
the
got
ones
these.
first?
Yeah.
Okay.
On one side.
You want some, you want Bibles?
And ones, right?
But color express or.
All right.
Well, what was it needs, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a need, yeah, so.
Okay.
How many, but how much experience are we looking
Well,
for?
that would
We
be-
don't really want to say
Yeah.
experience,
Well, I'll go
it's
ahead
only
and
6 months.
prior experience.
As you said, when Jim was going, he was going, as a four head cook, he would want someone with at least 3 to 5.
Well, there's a difference because head cook's gonna have,
Mine took and it took.
yeah, there's, so you want an experienced team leader instead of just someone who's
Transportation for a need,
2-3 years.
because it's not a.
And remember, there's no wrong answers. Put everything up, it's good.
Okay.
He needs prior.
Marcia, you got anything?
Got the prior experience.
Wants.
They need to be able to scan first.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, like, self-motivated, creative.
I understand that the prior experience, say something like, has worked, understood, there's certain things in
Well,
Jim's
this is
kitchen
gonna be the
that
head
we
cook
need to
and
know.
or like daily specials.
You mean like on the grill?
Serve dinner or anything like that, anything.
Ooh, good one.
Prior cooking skills.
Right, so we have
Because-
cooking skills.
Right, because anyone that have prior experience working in the kitchen,
Right.
How
but
about,
everyone doesn't have prior.
ability to,
Or so would
Exactly. Quickly, right?
Yeah.
And knowledge on how to read recipes. It sounds stupid, but believe me when I tell you,
what
there's
about
not many
ability
cooks out here who think they can read recipes
Right.
as easy as they are to read.
Right.
You know, the average woman walk into a kitchen and pull out a recipe and read
Right,
it.
so you need
But I'm
someone who can
paying
handle
£30
that
an
volume.
hour and you don't even know what
Volume
one
of
C
pressure.
stands for.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I've seen that.
We about get along with others because we're in the kitchen, right? Team.
Okay, if you put that down, it doesn't necessarily work in most kitchens.
We'll give it a shot.
Right.
Okay, there you go.
So you work that.
Give us some from yours too.
Well, wait, maybe,
But
maybe
you
you should
should
be,
want if you want to.
maybe you should be one.
Motivated?
Yeah.
I think leadership
Well,
leadership
that's-
experience is good if you're a head
I
coach.
guess, yeah,
It was really easy for
leadership
a
skills.
bunch of
Yeah.
young women and try to push around the kitchen, but stop with the, that balance.
Right.
But the head cook really should have team. You should
Just remember,
Yeah, you should-
you're,
yeah,
you
you
should
should
get
have
along
leadership
with
experience
them.
as you go in, but
to stay up for long periods of time.
as a one, because that tells me going in to be a head cook.
You know, that could go either way, though, don't you think?
Right.
I don't think if somebody didn't have the ability to stay in, you know.
That's a lot of times what they have to do to order.
Because if you can't do it, then you're gonna,
I want strong, also,
Well, that would,
walk.
yeah, that would be the soup, that would depend on where you are.
Yeah, seriously. We didn't call them out.
That's why, that's how I was gonna say the same thing, but I didn't think about that, because it's really hard to distinguish.
Friendly or
That's why the
outgoing.
difference, the difference between a mom and pop kitchen and a big corporation is they're, the big corporations are able to hire a cook.
college experience?
Knowing how to delegate,
Yes.
and would that
Yes.
be?
That's
That
experience
would be a need.
on work
That would be, yeah, that would be a one.
That would be experience in the workplace,
That would be a one.
but I
It
mean,
would
you
be
could
a
go
one.
to college for years. Right. So would that be the one thing, you want someone who's educated, or you need someone?
Now,
I want somebody that has.
He or she needs
But
to
you need
know
to
how
put
to
it
work
down.
equipment.
It's good.
They would have-
Education, I'm just determining what side to put it down.
No,
on.
but you all are giving too much thought to it.
Okay.
We want the right person.
That's, yeah, it's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Because see, I'm trying to put myself where Jim would be. He would hire a sous chef, not a head cook. See, you have to be in a large corporation, they would
Is
have
that a one thing or is that a need?
executive, the sous chef, then a head cook.
Plus his team would be good, you know, they're going to like
See, what
you.
else would you need with the head cook?
Okay, I put myself back at Churchill now. I had to know how to do the ordering, the product ordering. I had to know how to do the inventory.
Probably one.
Whatever call it a one,
I need to know how to do the daily order code sheets. that was a need.
Okay.
That was a need. In order for me to get that position, I needed to know that information. Luckily, I had already.
But you're not a good supervisor or manager.
Well, they follow your act.
Yeah, exactly, you're not gonna be.
I think I would be.
That would be a one,
They
yeah.
don't want them to work, they don't want them.
Actually, that would be
I can
a
have
one
that, don't
candidate
speak.
because,
I'm serious.
right, that's what I was gonna say. The need would be, service safe certification because it's not just telling you about sanitation. It's also telling you about
You need
service.
someone who can lift,
Okay.
like, you know, at least 30 pounds, a lot of our cases are like 30, 40, 50
That's
pounds.
transportation.
We'll call it 50 because most back before I went.
Let's see if that's what we want.
12 months before I always looked through at least 50 pounds.
We want someone with customer-oriented skills.
Do they need a customer?
Oh, yes, we do.
Okay, so that's a want.
Because I used to deal with a lot of the customers where they would have,
Whatever comes to mind.
right, they would want to, you know, the guests at church or now, they would want to speak with the chef. But I can always find
Do we
them, so I
want
have to
someone
delegate
who,
myself.
or do we need someone who's knowledgeable on computers?
How would you
Did
say,
deal with potentially order product?
you're on the way,
that's a
you're
good
running
one.
out of work
It
product,
depends on the
especially
operation.
for the night, so they need to be able to.
Well, that read is
They need to be
standardized,
flexible
so,
and.
yeah.
They adapt.
Where you can work. Yeah.
Someone that's works in English and Spanish.
Oh,
Yeah, that would be our want. Plus, one who you can work a flexible schedule.
Under pressure.
Yeah, you want
You can
someone-
work lunch and dinner.
I was trying to figure out what you were saying.
Okay, let's see, what are those? Now, we're doing a lot of these, wants.
Right, flexible means, do you really like
They're
this?
not gonna be able to call.
Okay, you know, in any kitchen, I would want my head cook to be, well,
Be able to work extra hours, split some schedule.
he would have to be
I just bought me something.
knowledgeable of, how do you say, we just talked about this a couple weeks ago. You have to be knowledgeable of the other employees' feelings.
Then I would never get hired.
Okay, so you can consider it.
A lot of things.
Oh, that's what they, wow.
Child, you're
Mo-
You see, I'm standing next to you, you got me just on.
They- they-
It's gonna bother me.
Sorry.
That's the
I
problem.
go in on interviews and then they go, okay, I got one.
Oh,
I
I
would
don't
think we
see it.
want them to.
It's in my head, it's in my head.
Oh, you pull it out.
Represent the company, how we want.
Do they let you
Right.
wear it like that?
There'd have to be a good representation of an employee.
Depends.
On
Right.
It
or?
depends on the.
That takes value, that's exactly what I'm saying. But that would be a want.
Because then my hair is not hanging down, not my hair is not hanging down, but,
Don't wear hairnet ever.
right.
But I don't mind because I shave it a lot.
No, you
So you're
It's
dealing
like
with
your
higher
family
quality
in
people
restaurants.
that
The
can-
ethics and values would be to
Exactly.
be family oriented,
Right.
that's what I have.
Exactly.
You just have to put your hair back.
Yeah. But my hair's not like
Okay.
head hair.
So we want someone who is,
Well done.
well-rounded.
Would that be a need? That'd be a need.
Well-groomed, like good hygiene.
Mhm. Good personal hygiene.
You know what those lungs would be? They need to be able to.
Oh, well, I was back in the day, you used to almost
They need
have
to be able to work every function,
Now people
like
be on that
every
more.
position in the kitchen,
You know.
in case
They
someone
used
calls
to
out.
wear nice pair of jeans, nice top, nice shoes.
Yeah.
So they have to be able to know how to work, not only
Oh, no, you
how
Yeah,
they
or
work
you
stuff
know,
on
slacks and
Sunday, but
buttons
also
up
how to
here,
work on
yeah, where you're going.
Yeah, they don't look at it like that too much no more.
Right, because if you're hiring, say you're hiring one person from the outside, they need to have that. Because if you're just gonna promote someone, they would already have that.
Right, yeah. But if you're
Make sure that
hiring,
person knows everything.
yeah, they know how to make everything.
About a minute and a half.
You still look great when you're done.
But she realizes that I've got my stuff together.
It's like you can't judge someone about their appearance. You know what I'm saying?
Well, she didn't, I don't think when they hired me, I don't think, because I got hired to a friend, I don't think they checked my credentials.
For
So they didn't
representation.
realize.
They must have good
They're like, it's just a friend need the job.
with staff.
Well, yeah, even though I told one manager my credentials, he wasn't my boss.
I have
And
trouble with
so
that
the lady that I worked for,
Why
she
is
had no
it-
clue that they ran a place
Are we
for
trying to
11
say
years.
something, but because I'm not familiar with the lingo or something. Or he won't understand what I'm trying to say. So I have to start.
Language barrier or just?
Okay,
No, he's just at a higher level.
Just knows how to speak his language.
Yeah.
let's see what you all have for the head cook, needs and wants. Who wants to go first?
Let's start with the twos, because, you know,
Because we have less.
Okay, twos?
Take it away.
Okay, and they're voice, reliable, creative, we moved this self-motivated over to voice, education, good communication skills. We need a morale booster, somebody who's bilingual in the kitchen and also flexible with their scheduling. Their needs, like 2 to 3 years experience, either as a head cook or maybe culinary experience, ServSafe certified, ability to handle high pressure volume, ability to stand for long periods of time, ability to lift 50 pounds or more, good personal hygiene, sharp, clean dress appearance, and you're not, sharp, check uniform.
wow.
And you all moved self-motivated over to the wants, and that was because you all decide, what did you all decide on that?
We figured it was more of a want than a need.
Okay, okay. Very good, very good. Wants?
Go ahead.
Okay, so as for our wants, we put down 3 to 5 years prior experience as a cook, cooking experience with the equipment in the kitchen, knowledge of how to read recipes, which a lot of cooks don't know how to do, leadership experience, know how to delegate within the kitchen amongst the staff, sanitation standards, we want them to have sanitation standards, customer skills, be empathetic to the employees.
Good representation of an employee, ethics and values.
Yeah, have good ethics and values to represent. And that's what it needs. You would need to have transportation, be able to stand for long hours, be a team worker, and know how to actually work the equipment, do ordering, inventory,
Open and close sheets.
know how to do open and closing sheets, yeah, the daily sheets, and then be
Safe,
ServSafe certified, be friendly, not just amongst the staff, but as well as with the customers and the guests. Be flexible and know how to work under fire, be able to work under pressure. Be multi-talented and communicate with the staff and customers. I mean, what we were smart, put a little smaller, make it compact, put it into an ad, don't you?
Very good. Can you all see from these how it could save your business? Save your time and money by having your information listed out as it is?
Right.
Okay, very good. Okay, now we're going to work on your own, and if you don't mind, you all will take those down, please. Here's the markers.
Down there.
Okay, so now you're going to work on developing your hiring criteria. You're going to have 15 minutes, and you're going to develop one list of 8 hiring criteria you will use to hire a back-of-the-house manager for your concept based on the material that we've discussed in lecture. Any questions? 15 minutes. Okay, well, let me hear what you have. Who wants to go first? Kathy?
5 years experience with back of the house as currently having the manager, friendly, flexible, gets along well with others, understanding of all the jobs in the back of the house, ordering and managing inventory, ability to fill in should a short staff occurrence happen, understanding equipment and able to assist with the breakdown, that's the equipment, not a person. Reliable and honest.
Go down the list.
Previous experience, 2 years. Knowledge of kitchen and equipment, good leadership skills, safe serve certified, communication skills, good personal hygiene, reliable, and purchasing and ordering experience.
Right?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm ready.
Must have knowledge of restaurant industry, have a minimum of 3 to 5 years experience as a restaurant manager, have good communication skills, verbal and written, have the ability to stand and work for long hours, must have knowledge of computer programs, Excel, Word, 7 and 8, etc. for the scheduling and so forth. Possesses leadership skills, ability to work alone or with staff, must have reliable transportation, which is a car or bus, must have safe food handling certification, and a high school education and college degree required.
When you were thinking about the wants of your facility, what, can you pull out a couple of those, Jimmy, that you pinpointed?
Out of here,
That was not an essential function, but I would like to have because it would match mine.
that would be the possess the leadership skills and the ability to work alone.
Okay.
In case I can't be there for whatever reason,
Right.
I would need you to be able to run the kitchen
Very good.
or the back of the house.
Sure, sure. Very good. Marcia?
2 to 3 years work experience along with college.
Experience?
Experience, yeah.
College education?
Yes.
Okay.
Understand the restaurant operations, bilingual, ability to work long hours, flexibility, leadership. Everyone?
Well, I mean, is that all you have?
Honest, I'll be honest, on reliable transportation, ability to live with 50 pounds and leadership skills.
Okay.
Energetic.
Very
So
good.
much.
I have 3 to 5 years experience as a restaurant manager at a bed and breakfast and a hotel from Covington. Prior experience working with computer systems at the Speed Fun restaurant.
Okay.
Excellent customer service skills, and the ability to communicate expectations efficiently.
Okay.
Good example of company values and ethics, teamwork and leadership skills, organized, and an understanding of all the back office functions.
Okay. And Laura, what are some pieces you picked out that were essential functions, needs?
I think the essential functions would be prior experience with the computers.
Okay.
The experience and ability to communicate expectations efficiently.
Okay. You definitely would need those pieces in your bed and breakfast. Very good, very good. Sharon?
I've got a lot of stuff that they already mentioned, like CertSafe certified, excellent communication skills, outgoing, has managerial experience, 2 to 3 years required, flexible scheduling, sharp, clean appearance, superior work ethic, good customer service skills, ordering and receiving shipments of products, great leadership and teamwork skills, and willingness to go above and beyond when asked or when needed, and when it's happened already.
So as you went through this exercise, you had time to really think about both of those pieces in your hiring criteria. Those desires or wants for that position, for a good fit, but also the needs, those essential pieces. Now, the reason I had you to do this was, yes, to save you time and money, because we don't want to hire the wrong person. We want that to be a good fit, but also, if you go through this exercise enough times, you will be able to look at a job application and probably save a lot of time by the way they put their information there, okay? Because you can compare that to your criteria. You look at the job application and you look at your hiring criteria and you say, okay, does this match up with what I need? Does this match up with my wants? Some of them do, some of them don't. Is this person going to be a good fit for me? Okay, do y'all see that?
Yes.
So you're going to save yourself a lot. That's even more time that you save. Because now we don't have to go as far as an interview, because I've already determined from looking at this, I have what I want, or I need to look further. Okay. What were some things that maybe came to mind regarding your own facility and how you could use this information? And maybe there's something more and I don't want to pass by that. Any additional pieces or ideas that you came up with?
I like something she said about, what was it, they were supposed to, the values or something.
Yeah, good example of company values.
Yeah, kind of like, their example of their company values.
Yes.
Like you could look at them and say, no, that's it.
Is this, yeah, right. When you see the person, you pretty much, and then look at their information. Very good. Well, the question says, as owner of a facility, in what ways will this information be helpful to you? Well, think about it. I'm giving you my portion, but how do you see it being helpful? Yes.
Well, I think it would help me in my organization with the bistro, because it would help me to get the proper front of house staff that I would need, who would be cheerful and welcoming, and as well as the proper back of house staff who's going to be willing to put in the hours and the hard work it's going to take to make the restaurant succeed. So that's what I think I get from this.
Anyone else? There's a lot of applicants out there, they're all dressed up, sharp, clean cut appearance, and they're willing to just give you that spiel of what you want to hear. So you know, they're all going to say what you want. This is kind of a good way to whittle it down to find out what points you want to hear. Because they're going to tell you exactly, you know, I'm a hard worker, you know, I'm a good leader, we have excellent leadership skills. But this way you can actually kind of narrow it down to what you need.
Yes.
And get to the bottom.
Yes. Any other questions about the hiring criteria?
I have a question.
Yes,
I don't really
Amy.
know if it's about the hiring criteria, but is it something that you could talk about in the interview, that you could hire someone on like a trial basis or something? How would that work?
Hiring such as?
Like, you know, we could try this out for 30 days. And then, I mean, would that be considered a temporary?
Well, first of all, why would you feel you would want to try a person out for 30 days?
Well, I mean, 'cause like she said, they can tell you what you want to hear during the interview.
Can I elaborate on
Okay.
that?
Yeah, just a minute. Go ahead, finish, I'm sorry.
But I mean, I'm just saying, because, you know, really until you work that person, you really don't know what they're capable of. Even though they have it in writing.
Right.
You know, I've got 2 and 3 years experience, but I've worked with cooks who have had 2 or 3 years and
Okay.
they suck.
Okay.
You know, but you don't know that until you work with them.
Right.
All right, okay. Kathy, how would you handle that?
What we do, what I do is that we have 90-day contracts. We have employment contracts. We actually have employment contracts. And the employment contract
That's
is,
not contract for you too.
yeah, that basically says we're offering you the opportunity to work in this wonderful this great growing company. And, you know, these are the reasons why, kind of an assessment of why you'd want to work here. Then it says your responsibilities include, it lists your job description. And then it says for the first 90 days, you'll be working under a, I can't think of the term that we use right now.
Probationary?
Probation period for the
Okay.
first 90 days. and your salary will be this, or your hourly income will be this. After 90 days, you'll be reassessed, your income will then become this. We incent them, because sometimes we'll sit down and say, what does it take for you to work here? Well, I want $20 an hour. We may come back and offer them $18 an hour for the first 90 days, and we'll take it to 20 when they prove that they're capable of working that position. And we have a 90-day probation period, and then after that time, we make sure at 90 days we meet and assess the job description, and are they fitting into it, are they doing all the things they need to do, and then they then become full-time employee, and they get the other agreed upon income. We just did that with the hire.
Jimmy, you have a bistro.
Yes.
Would you hire someone for a limited time, or thinking in advance, I'm going to hire this person for a limited time? And I understand the reasoning, which is good.
Well, I know what she's talking about, because a lot of the jobs I work, even at Church and Rounds, I work on the what's called probation.
Employment contract, or a probation period.
I signed an employment contract for 90 days.
Right.
And I had to prove myself. So to say, it would depend on what position it would be, actually. Because a cook, well, you can get them a dime a dozen, but to get a head cook, a general manager, someone who's going to be worth in the organization, I would say, yeah, I have to give them an employment contract.
And Jamie, that is a very good question, because you may be surprised by some of the skills that you can get from people that don't have the education. They did not come into Sullivan and get a degree, but they have good skills, okay? And so, and they know how to manage well. Maybe they've managed in their home, or they have their own business, or what have you. And so that's a good way if you can get enough information through your hiring criteria, through the job description, to make you feel like, okay, let me give this person an opportunity. That can turn out to be a plus for your facility.
Right.
So, excellent question. I can really see how that can work. There are risks. We know that. Okay.
Well, that's what she said. I mean, if you get everything legally, in contract and it's all detailed, then.
Sure.
It's also, it's a high turnover,
High turnover position.
Yeah.
In the industry.
Yeah.
In the kitchen.
So if you don't have the certainty of being hired for at least a year or something like that, causes uncertainty if they find something else.
Right.
That will do that. In some cases, they might decide to do that. And
Sure.
go with your company.
Sure.
Because it's more secure.
Very good. Okay, well, that pretty much ends our discussion on the hiring criteria. We're going to move on to Chapter 9.